Welcome to episode 1 of the Claude Agent SDK series. This is the conceptual prerequisite. Everything in later episodes assumes the loop in your head. Here's a single turn. Your prompt goes in. The SDK hands it to Claude with the tool catalog. Claude responds with a tool call. The SDK runs the tool and feeds the result back. Claude responds again. That whole round trip is one turn. The important part, the SDK runs the tool loop, not you. With the regular Anthropic SDK, you'd write the while loop yourself. Here, you don't. Your job is to watch the message stream until a final result message lands. That's it. Let's look at what the messages actually are. The async iterator yields 5 core message types. You'll switch on them. System message. The first one carries session metadata. Init for the start, compact boundary when the SDK summarizes all history. Assistant message. Emitted after every Claude response, including the final text-only one. Know the TypeScript shape. Content lives at message.message.content. The raw API message is wrapped. User message. After each tool runs, the result comes back as a user message. Same type carries any inputs you stream mid-loop. Stream event. Raw API deltas only emitted when you opt in with include partial messages. We'll come back to it. Result message. The end. Subtype tells you whether it succeeded. Result is the final text. You also get cost, usage, and the session ID for resuming later. Here is the smallest possible agent. Import query. Handed a prompt and a list of tools the agent can use. Iterate the messages until the stream ends. That's the whole shape. Notice what isn't here. No while loop, no tool dispatch, no accumulating conversation history. The SDK runs the loop. You just watch the stream. One quick housekeeping note. If you use this SDK before version 0.1, the package was called Claude Code. It's now Claude Agent SDK. The options type renamed to from Claude Code Options to Claude Agent Options. One subtler change, the default system prompt is now minimal. Before, you got the full Claude Code preset for free. If your old agent suddenly forgot how to code, set system prompt to the preset explicitly. We'll come back to system prompts in episode 6. The loop has 2 exit conditions per cycle. Claude either asks for more tool calls and we continue, or returns text only and we finish. Each completed cycle is one turn, one useful detail. The max turns budget counts tool use turns only. The final text-only response is free. So a setting of 3 turns gives you up to 3 rounds of tool execution before the loop bails. Set a turn cap and a budget cap in production. Without them, the loop runs until Claude finishes on its own, which is fine for narrow tasks and risky for open-ended ones. Result message carries a subtype telling you exactly why the loop ended. Success means Claude completed the task. The 4 error subtypes each tell you what to do next. The result field, the final text, is only present on success. Always check subtype before reading it. Effort controls how much reasoning Claude applies per response. Lower effort burns fewer tokens. Higher effort produces more careful work and costs more. One gotcha worth flagging once. The TypeScript SDK defaults effort to high. The Python SDK leaves it unset and defers to the model's own default. If your TypeScript build looks worse than your Python build on the same workload, this is probably why. Set effort explicitly if cost matters. When Claude requests several tools in one turn, the SDK runs read-only ones concurrently and serializes anything that mutates state. So read, glub, and grep can all run in parallel. Edit, write, and bash run one at a time. Your own custom tools default to sequential, which is the safe choice. If a custom tool is truly read-only, set read-only hint to true in its annotations, and the SDK will run it in parallel with other reads. Free latency win when it applies. Every request Claude makes carries the same 4 things. Prompt caching covers the parts that don't change. First, the system prompt, small, fixed cost, then Claude.md, full content on every request, then the tool definitions. A handful of MCP servers can chew thousands of tokens before the agent does any work, and the conversation history, which accumulates with every tool result. Long sessions get expensive. Here is the thing worth remembering. Claude.md is reinjected on every request. The initial prompt is not, so persistent rules belong in Claude.md, not in the prompt. Episode 6 has the full system prompt story. When context starts filling up, the SDK quietly compacts older history into a summary and keeps going. You see it in the stream as a system message with subtype compact boundary. The catch: anything specific from early in the conversation can be lost in summarization. The fix is to put rules that must persist in Claude.md because it gets reinjected on every request. There is also a precompact hook for custom logic. We will cover hooks in episode 3. Want a typing style UI? Flip include partial messages to true, and the stream now also yields stream event messages, raw API deltas in the same 6 events Claude's web app uses. 2 caveats. You accumulate text yourself. The SDK does not buffer for you. And streaming output is incompatible with structured outputs and with max thinking tokens. Pick one or the other. Here is a full agent. Import query. Call it with a prompt, a tool allow list to auto-approve save operations, setting sources to load Claude.md and project skills, a turn cap so it cannot run forever, and effort high for careful debugging. Then iterate the stream. Capture the session ID from the init message so you can resume later. Check the result subtype, print the answer on success, and on max turns log the session ID so a follow-up run can pick up where this one stopped. Quick recap. The agent loop yields a type stream of 5 message types. System message opens and closes phases. A system message carries Claude's responses. User message carries tool results. Stream event gives you live deltas if you opt in. Result message ends the loop with the answer and the cost. That's the loop. Next episode, tools, the built-in catalog, how to write your own, and how to plug in MCP servers. See you there.